Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Revenge of the Gulls. Jamie Finley flat out hated seagulls with an utter passion. They were so dumb with their ugly sharp beaks, their disturbing little black eyes and their angelic white feathers. Jamie knew the truth. Seagulls were not angels, and they were more like birds from hell. He drove down a long, narrow street in his red Ford pickup truck. He always liked this stretch of road because thankfully there were no potholes, never any idiots on the road, and it was perfectly safe. Exactly how he liked it. He waved at a few young university students in their tight black jeans and hoodies, with heavy rucksacks over their shoulders. They were waiting to cross, and Jamie was tempted to slow down to let them cross, but there was a black Land Rover behind him. The last thing he wanted to do was slow down, help the university students, and annoy the Land Rover. He shrugged to himself. The students would only have to wait a few more moments. The students crossed the wide road a moment later. The sun was shining, the day was perfectly warm but not hot, and the car smelt great with hints of coffee, vanilla, and freshly whipped cream. Jamie was so looking forward to seeing what other great things happened today. The coffee smelt amazing. The only part of the road Jamie didn't like was all the dirty white terraced houses that lined the road. They just looked so ugly. Their large windows were covered in black mold, their front gardens were all overgrown, and the so-called decorative wooden planks that were hanging off the houses just looked atrocious. It was even worse that on the dull red-tiled roofs were lines upon lines of angry-looking seagulls just watching him. A seagull flew overhead, pooped on his windscreen, and then all the seagulls shrieked in one terrifying choir. He hated them. Little did he realize that hatred would only get him killed, or worse. This was hell's place after all. The strange former council estate people died, disappeared, and other weird and twisted things happened to them every day without a second thought. Towards the end of the road, there was a perfectly placed ham sandwich. A seagull zoomed down and went to eat it. Jamie felt so angry that a dumb, ugly seagull was in his way. He hated them. They were always bullying him, and now he wanted revenge. He floored it, he smashed into the seagull and killed it instantly. Jamie shivered a little. The loud crunching of bones echoed round the car, and the faint smell of death lingered in the air. Jamie couldn't help smiling to himself, not because he had enjoyed it. He hated the awful sound of the seagull's bones crunching under the wheels of his pickup truck, but he had finally taken revenge against the ugly bastards. One seagull was dead, and hopefully no more of them would bully him, harass him, or make his life a living hell. Little did he realize, the nightmare was only beginning. A few minutes later, Jamie pulled up next to his bright white semi-detached house. He clipped the damn curb, and he had no idea how his wife Tony never managed to hit it. He stretched his neck after the loud bang and vibrations finished. He stepped out, locked up the truck, and he jumped. He rubbed his eyes, but there were hundreds, if not a few thousand, seagulls just standing in front of him. All their tiny black eyes were staring at him. Their so-called angelic white feathers were neatly tucked away, and their razor-sharp beaks pointed towards him. The seagulls were everywhere. He had no idea if Tony had watered the front lawn for the past few days. The seagulls were covering it so much so he couldn't see if the lawn was brown or lustrous green. The seagulls covered his entire roof, and if there was a single millimeter, inch or slice of space on his house, the seagulls were sitting on it. He went to turn out to his truck because he always carried a shovel in the back, but all the seagulls stretched their arms. There was a loud whoosh in the air, and Jamie didn't try it. The seagulls would probably kill him before he grabbed the shovel. Jamie tried to see if Tony was watching all this insanity from their living room window, But then he noticed all the windows were covered in seagull poo. His hands formed fists. He wanted to scream, and he wanted to hurt these damn seagulls. How dare they attack his house, threaten his wife, and how dare they try to scare him? Even though they were doing a great job at that. "What do you want?" Jamie asked. He wasn't really sure if he expected an answer or not. He hardly expected them to talk perfect English or anything, but one of them did. A large seagull with blood-red eyes walked towards him, almost as if it was actually human. Then it shrieked and transformed into an impressive young man. Jamie blinked a few times, but the young man in the expensive Gothic-like suit was actually standing in front of him. The young man didn't look threatening, but his blood-red eyes were damn unnerving, and his killer smile was slightly larger than humanly possible. Jamie wondered if this was the so-called legendary Edward Hales. The stupid myth about a lord from the 1800s who owned the land that Hell's Place was built on. He was meant to have made some kind of silly demonic pact for eternal life. It was pure rubbish, stupidity, and he had no idea why anyone would believe in it. "Good afternoon, Mr. Finley," the young man said. "It is an honor to meet you, but I have to say that my friends are less happy to see you. My friends say you killed one of their brothers a few minutes ago. They are very hurt." Jamie laughed. "They're hurt. They are the ones that have been pooing and tormenting me for months. They are the ones who are the monsters. Not me." The young man giggled. "I see. I see. Normally, I would agree with my fellow human, but the gulls, you see, they do not agree with your assessment of the situation. They want an apology." "Never. Tell your pathetic seagulls to die so they can leave me alone," Jamie said, going towards the house. Jamie waved the seagulls away. He slowly went towards the house, and he felt that every single seagull was watching him with murderous intent. "Mr. Finley," the young man said, "I am not normally concerned with who dies in my estate, but I want to warn you. If you go inside that house without an apology, the seagulls will hurt you." Jamie kicked the seagulls, some screamed in pain, and he ran to the house. Jamie panted. He unlocked the front door, raced inside, and slammed the front door shut. And sealed his fate at the same time. The next morning, Jamie flat out couldn't believe how ugly, twisted, and perverse the damn seagulls were as he went out and saw them swarming his pickup truck. His mouth dropped. He hated how all the damn seagulls were covering his truck. They had slashed his tires and they had smashed his windscreen. The light, slightly warm morning breeze brushed his cheeks, the seagulls shrieked in delight, and Jamie just wanted to kill them all. He went over to the truck. The seagulls spread their wings, they shrieked, and he backed away. Jamie hated them more than anything else in the world. He looked back at his semi-detached house, and his hands formed fists. All the windows were covered in gull poo. The woodwork had been pecked to death in the night, and Jamie's entire body felt drained. He had barely managed to sleep. At first he had thought it was a simple thunderstorm because it was England. Those things happened. Now he knew it was sadly to do with those bastard gulls. A moment later the evil young man appeared with blood-red eyes, shiny Gothic-like suit, and his killer smile that certainly wasn't natural. "Did you sleep well last night?" the young man asked, clearly already knowing the answer. Jamie gestured he was going to punch the young man. The seagulls shrieked and spread their wings again. "Would they actually attack me?" Jamie asked, gesturing he was going to punch the seagulls. "I could just kill them all." Jamie raised his fist. He just wanted to scare them, and he certainly didn't want to kill them. He smiled. He swung his fist towards them. A seagull zoomed towards him. Its razor-sharp beak sliced through his hand. The seagull drank his blood. It flew away, and all the seagulls shrieked in delight. Jamie screamed in pain. Pure agony flooded his entire body, and he sank to his knees, clutching his bleeding hand to his chest. The young man tutted, knelt down on his knee, and giggled. "I tried to warn you, little human," he said, "but you thought you were smarter, braver, and you thought you controlled Hell's Place." An ice-cold shiver ran up his spine. Jamie's eyes widened and his stomach churned violently. He had a feeling he knew exactly who this young man actually was. Edward Hales was meant to be a myth, a legend, and a story designed to scare young university students. He couldn't be real, but as the young man's eyes glowed blood-red. He knew it was true. The young man grinned. "Are you sorry yet?" Jamie nodded. "Of course I'm bloody sorry. I was wrong to kill the seagull, I was wrong to be scared of them, and I was wrong to try and punch them. I'm sorry." "Okay." The seagulls zoomed off the truck, they shrieked and they flew all around Jamie. "I'm sorry, so sorry. Can you get them to stop?" Edward Hales laughed. "Oh, Jamie Finley. The time for sorry is over. The time for apologies is long gone, and you have forgotten a very important detail about Hell's Place." Jamie forced himself up. "What? What could I possibly have forgotten? I am Edward Hales, and Hell's Place sings to my tune, and only my tune. These seagulls do nothing without my say-so." Jamie's skin went ice-cold as he realized exactly what Edward Hales was actually saying. The seagulls were dumb, they were ugly, and they were mindless, but their master certainly wasn't. "And," Edward sighed, taking a few steps closer, "I have been looking for someone to control them on my behalf." Jamie shivered as Edward's voice was powerful, so seductive, and Edward moved so close to him that Jamie could smell Edward's sweet aftershave. Seagulls exploded through the windows of his house. Human bones rained down upon him. Edward flashed his fangs. "The seagulls sure loved your wife," Edward sighed. Jamie jumped. He turned to run. Pure fear gripped him. Edward chomped on Jamie's neck, sucked his blood, and Jamie screamed in agony as every single cell in his body felt like it was on fire. Edward threw him to the ground. Jamie went to shout at Edward when his mouth turned into a razor-sharp orange beak, his clothes and skin turned into angelic white feathers, and his legs turned into webbed feet. Then he dropped to the floor because seagulls were nowhere near as tall as him, and he just glared at Edward Hales. Partly in anger, partly in rage, and partly because he wanted to serve his new master. Edward Hales was the lord of Hell's Place, and now him and his wonderful fellow seagulls had to fly, torment, and make people's lives a living hell. And Jamie couldn't wait for a single moment. Not one more moment.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.